Hey, so I'm going to be talking about the film Fukushima 50. I watched it on Prime Video and it was a very interesting film to watch. It basically talks about a power plant that is in an extremely serious situation. There was an earthquake that caused a huge tsunami, which also takes the power from the plant and causes cores to start melting in the chambers. These chambers have pressure in them, and if the valves on them stop working, they could explode, which can cause death and a nuclear explosion. Those chambers have radiation in them, so if the radiation starts getting out into the air, it can cause death. So they are cut off from basically the outside world, so anyone in the vicinity is being told to evacuate due to this. And each time a chamber explodes throughout the movie and radiation starts going out into the air, they evacuate more and more people. As all of this is going on, the plant is trying to figure out which people to send down into the chambers to try and fix this. Those people will have to go into the chambers, open the valves to relieve the pressure. That way it doesn't explode. Some of the physics that I've noticed throughout the movie is how the water in the reactor was drying up, and then in a matter of time, the fuel melts, which will break out. It'll break out of the vessel, causing core decay. That will cause radiation to discharge and go out into the air. Another is when the water levels start to rise, as well as the radiation rising, so it's getting too high for certain units, and they will have to try and do a ventilation system. That ventilation system will be risky as it will release radiation into the air, but it will help the chambers from exploding. If the entire plant was to explode, causing a nuclear explosion, it could potentially take out all of Japan and Tokyo. Now, when we start talking about ethics, I thought personally that it was unethical behavior when they had to pick and choose who went down into the chambers to basically risk their life and being exposed to high dosages of radiation, as they only picked from people that were in that plant already and not the people through the office where they had to just keep switching out groups so they could try each chamber and try to protect them, but some did still explode. No one died during that, though. Throughout the movie as well, I've noticed that some people thought it was unethical that the government did not do an emergency evacuation, as it was a risk of the plant exploding and all of Japan and Tokyo could have been wiped out, but the government did not evacuate people. They as well gave one man the job to choose from the group of men that worked in the plant to go down and ventilate the chambers, as I feel that would be wrong too, to make one man choose when you should potentially ask for volunteers first and then go from there. And then like the advantages and disadvantages, which it's all a disadvantage to have to, but the disadvantages of like thinking of their age, like who would be harmed more, who is more likely to make it out. I do feel that politicization tactics were used throughout the movie, as it did show in many scenes people were talking about the pressure rising in the chambers. They as well discussed the PSIs and all sorts of water levels, which are scientifically proven. There as well are a lot of people that asked about their town and if it was going to be saved or if it's going to get destroyed. And at that point in time through the movie, they did not know what was going to happen. I would recommend this movie to someone else. So if you are watching my video or listening to my video, I would recommend that you watch it. It is a very tragic story to like follow and watch the film. But it has some great news toward the end as the pressure has gone down. It gives knowledge of radiation and how dangerous a plant can be. I as well feel this film is great because the U.S. Army did go fly out to help with the devastation that took place. They took food and drinks over to the families in need. I as well feel this should be shown in schools if parents approve, which I assume they would, in like a physics class even for high school, to be watched to teach children about the pressures and the PSIs and what could really happen at a power plant if something like this happened here where we live. I believe that's all I have. Thanks for listening.